This is TWiT.
Apple will bake the Beats Music service right into iOS early next year, according to an exclusive in the Financial Times. The integration makes the little-used service that came with Apple's $3 billion Beats acquisition available to hundreds of millions of iPhone and iPad users. The move is a direct challenge to streaming music leader Spotify. Financial Times reporter Tim Bradshaw joins us now to talk about this exclusive. Welcome to you, Tim.
Hi there. How's it going?
It's going great, thank you. Now, Spotify has 10 million subscribers, roughly. I think they have more than that. Do we know how many of those are Apple hardware owners?
I don't know if they've broken that out, but certainly they. I guess when you get to that kind of scale, it's gonna average out to the kind of marketplace. But so certainly a few million, and they have 50 million registered users who listen to a certain amount of music or radio for free as well. So we're certainly talking about a lot of Spotify users on iOS right now.
Yeah, and when you compare Apple's 200 million active iTunes customers to Spotify's 10 million subscribers, it seems like a wild imbalance, but there's nothing in this that guarantees success for Apple, is there?
No, I mean, there's always that kind of, I guess, assumption that just because something's being bundled with a product that many people already have, whether it's Word and Windows or Google bundling messaging with its phones or something like that, that it will immediately kill the competition. It doesn't always quite work like that. Facebook have been trying to kill Snapchat for quite a while with varying degrees of failure. So no, it's not an automatic guarantee of success, but iTunes is so dominant already in the music industry. It's maybe not as lucrative as it used to be for Apple, and downloads in general are in decline. So it needs to make this kind of handbrake turn into streaming pretty fast, and that's why it's trying to push it out to everybody all at once. And just to be clear, I think on the it may take some time geographically for that rollout to happen. We expect it'll start in the States, but they're certainly looking for an international push on this, which would take Beats beyond its own US market for the moment.
Clearly, the Beats headphone brand has some cachet in the market, but the Beats music brand has significantly less so, and therefore Apple is going to have to be relying on features, I guess. Is there any feature advantage to Beats over Spotify?
Well, we're actually expecting it will be rebranded as iTunes as part of this, and so the Beats music brand will go away, and it will maintain that brand for the headphone side of the business. I think what Tim Cook at Apple has said he really liked about the Beats service when they acquired it is that it has a greater amount of human curation in the way that playlists are put together, or the kind of music is selected for prominence, whereas Spotify has some of that, and there's a bunch of apps that you can use that plug into it that will give you recommendations from music magazines or writers. But in general, it's kind of a little bit more algorithmic in what it surfaces for you, whereas Beats has this roster of musicians and celebrities from Dr. Dre on down that are kind of picking their favorites, and it's that human element and that tastemaker element that I think Apple is kind of looking to as a differentiator.
Speaking of tastemakers, do you think Taylor Swift will like this better than she likes Spotify?
Well, she didn't pull her music off Beats, as far as I'm aware. So it does seem to be a bit of a kind of ideological battle with Spotify as her main target. So, but Apple's relationship with the music industry has always been a lot stronger. Spotify, although the major record labels are all shareholders in the company, its relationship with artists has always been somewhat rocky, and there have been questions for years about the overall economics of the service and whether individual artists, whether it's Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift, get enough money back from that service. Apple made a big show of getting U2 up on stage at its September launch of the iPhone and the Apple Watch, and somewhat controversially pushing its new album out to everybody who had an iPhone, whether they wanted it or not. And that was part of an attempt to, reestablish that link between Apple and the music business, which goes back to the original iPod more than 10 years ago.